yoga mat, we're just going to show you a few quick things you can do down on the floor. The first thing Monica's going to do is it's a figure 4 stretch. It's a good hip opener, and it's also a glute. So she's going to place her ankle on her knee and then flexing that top foot, so drawing her toes towards her knee. You can gently push that knee away, just kind of helps stretch that. I'm going to come around to the other side. Glute. Now for a little bit deeper stretch, yep, she can lift that knee up and gently press that right knee. And pushing that ankle towards her chest. If you want, she can reach in and grab behind that leg and gently pull to get that glute even stretch even more. But notice how she's just keeping her head and neck all relaxed, her shoulders relaxed on the mat. All right. And again, what you do to one side, you want to do to the other side, so you want to do both sides. I know we showed the hamstring stretch with the strap seated in the chair. You can get it even a little bit better on the floor. So put that strap around the ball of the arch of your foot and then gently pull it towards your chest, keeping that foot flexed, trying to keep your leg as straight as possible, relaxing the back side of that leg. Take deep breaths in every time you exhale. Think about pulling it just slightly more towards your chest. She's going to show another couple variations. She can put these straps in her right hand, and she's going to just gently, just barely pull it past her midline. She's still pulling it towards her shoulders. So she's still pulling it forward, but she's gently, this really gets that hip. She's keeping that left hip on the ground. So this isn't a big movement. It's just barely crossing that midline. And then coming back to center, she's going to switch what hand, and then she's going to take it out to the outside. Again, she's still gently pulling that towards the front of her body, towards the head, while letting the leg fall out to the side. Getting that leg and that hamstring from all angles totally stretched out. And then when she's done with this leg, she'll put the strap on the other leg and complete this on the other side. All right. So when we sit, our low back can cause issues too. So she's going to come around and get onto all fours. She's going to line her knees directly under her hips and her wrists directly under her shoulders. And she's just going to take her hips around in a giant hip circle. It's a great one. It releases the low back. It also works out any kinks in those hips. Again, if you find a spot that really speaks loudly to you, spend a little bit more time on that. She'll go one direction, and now you see she's switched. She's going the other direction. So just exaggerated big hip circle. And then she's going to go back, line up those knees, and she's going to do some cat-cow. So she's going to press her chest to the floor, tilt that chin up, the big inhale, and then when she exhales, she's going to tuck that chin under and round that back up like a cat. And again, you just slowly go through this back and forth to get your spine a little lubricated. After sitting in one position for a long time, this can really help work some kinks out. And from here, another really great low back stretch. She's just going to drop her hips back towards her heels. You notice she kind of spread her knees a little bit wide, but kept her heels together, and then just reaching her hands out, and she's just going to relax and let her forehead rest on the mat. You can sit in this position. This is a really great low back stretch. Really helps let that low back that's been sitting in a compressed position really lengthen and relax. So here's a few things that you can do with your yoga mat. Okay, so now we're going to show some upper body exercises you can do with the band. So the first one, we're going to work upper back. If you sit at your desk all day, hunched forward, it's really important to work your upper back and strengthen it. So Monica's going to step on the band. You can do this with 1 foot or 2. She's going to cross the bands in front of her and kind of hold down a little bit further down on the band. Keeping her elbows in tight, she's going to fold forward and squeeze that upper back. So your arms want to take over here, but you really want your upper back to do the work. You turn sideways, Monica, so they can kind of see how this looks from the side. So she's keeping her back nice and flat, squeezing that upper back. Nice. Now the next, she's going to go ahead and uncross the bands, and she's going to let one side drop down, And she is going to stand up nice and tall, and she's going to do some lat raises. So palm to the floor, palm facing the floor. She's just going to lift her arm right up to shoulder height. On this one, you kind of have to adjust the band and figure out what works. You don't really want to go up above shoulder height. We're just kind of going to lift up to the shoulder height. And then as soon as that band gets slack, you can take it back up. So you don't need to go all the way down. You should go up. And in addition, she can bring that arm right to the front and just do front raises. Again, working the shoulder. So this works that shoulder. So to the side and to the front, both working shoulder. Now she's going to take the band and reach it up over her head and let the back of it drop down behind her. We're doing tricep. So you're going to, oh yeah, so you can step on the band and then bend and straighten. So you're keeping your elbows fixed in space. You're just, that forearm is dropping down and then you're pressing up. Just holding that band. So you can do this with one arm or with both arms. Either way. It's working that tricep. All right. Now she's going to take both handles in her hand and step on the band. And you can do this. We're doing biceps. You can do it with 1 foot or 2 feet. 2 feet would be a little bit harder. Then you can even spread your feet apart if you're wanting to make it harder. 1 foot would be easier. So then you want to pin those elbows at your sides and lift and lower. Nice and controlled. You don't want the band to fling back. You want to control it both directions. And that works your biceps. The last upper body we're going to show with the band is another little bit of a shoulder exercise. So you're going to hold the band in the center. Arms are going to come straight out in front of you. And you're just going to pull it to the side and then slowly take it back in. Trying to keep tension in the band at all times. So when you come back and you get to the slack part, just go ahead and keep pulling it. Again, right at shoulder height, just pulling it out to the side and back. So those are some upper body workout or exercises you can do with the band. So again, using the band, but doing some lower body. We're going to start off seated just in your desk chair. You're going to place the band around the arch of your foot. And keeping hold of the band pretty far down, you're going to tuck your elbows back, hold them in place, and then pressing out through your heel. Pushing through, and this kind of works that glute and that hamstring. So pushing all the energy out your heel. Go ahead and you want to show them from the side what this looks like. Sitting up nice and tall, keeping those elbows pinned in, and she's just going to press through the heel. Nice. All right. Then standing up, she's going to hold the handle band. She's going to step on the band with both feet. Okay, and she's got several different arm placements here. She can just hold them with her arms straight down. She can put her arms up on her hips. Yep, or she can hold them up by her shoulders. Either way, obviously this is the most resistance. Further down would be less resistance. Now keeping about 6 inches between her 2 feet, she's just going to take steps to the side. So she can take steps, you know, go depending on the room you have, go 4 one direction, 4 back the other direction, or just 2 or 3, but go back and forth and keeping your legs nice and straight, your feet nice and flexed. You're strong, you're using the outside of your leg here. So this is working that outside of your leg. Again, you can make it easier, like Monica just straightened her arms, or make it harder, come up here. But don't let those feet just fling back towards each other, keeping the distance, like Monica's doing, keeping the distance between the feet. All right, so keeping her standing on the band, just like she's doing. Again, she can change her arm positions here, making it easier or harder. She's just going to do squats. So she's going to squat down and then pressing up. So this just kind of adds a little bit on the up. You're adding a little bit of extra tension, makes it a little bit harder for those quads. You want to show this one from the side too so they can see the proper squat form. So on those squats, we're bending at the waist first and then sitting those hips back. Keeping that back nice and flat. So if you notice, Monica's knees don't really come forward that much. Her hips go back and then she bends in like she's sitting into a chair. And from here, keeping her arms there, she can even add a little upper body. She can do a squat and then do like an alternate press. So squat and she can press one arm up. And that works a little shoulder. It's a little bit of a shoulder press. So squat, press one arm up. Squat, press. Nice. And that's it for lower body band.